Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Carlos Pena, and I want to welcome you all to Placata Nation. And I'm here with my mi primo from the Bronx, cuz Rod.
Yo, you
Welcome,
already know. You
everyone.
already know.
But Rod, we got a very special guest today.
Yes,
As you
we
can
got the
see,
man.
yes, the polar bear, Pete Alonso. That's right, from the New York Mets. Welcome.
Thanks for having me on, guys. I really appreciate it. And Carlos, I love talking to you, man. So I mean, it's always a pleasure. So I
No,
know this is gonna
absolutely,
be a
man.
fun
Thank you so
time.
much for taking the time, Pete. And
Yeah.
we were just talking about the fact that spring training is just right around the corner. And I know you're a worker, man. So I want to know where you're at in your training. Let me
Yeah,
know what is your mindset? How does your body feel? Ready to go?
yeah. I mean, body feels great, and right now, especially since we're right on the cusp of camp starting, like I'm pretty much doing everything I would normally do in a regular spring training day. The only thing that I'm not doing is kind of getting to know my teammates. But like regarding like taking ground balls, throwing, taking infield, outfield, um, hitting BP and stuff like that, I'm right where I need to be, and this is pretty much my normal routine, other than facing live arms and like doing defensive work with guys I'm going to play with during the year. But everything like from physical work, it's right now I'm right the same where I need to be.
And
That's
Pete, you're like
excellent.
you're so laser focused in your approach on how you do things, and it's really inspiring to see that a young player in who plays in the stage that you play here in New York. I'm in New York too. I'm in the Bronx, and I have a bunch of friends that are massive Met fans. Shout out to them. And I just got to say, man, you've your personality, your approach to the game, your attitude, your size, everything. You've captured the imagination of so many people here in New York, but also around baseball, man. Like, how does it feel like to be that guy, to have that presence, and to have so many people that actually really root for you?
I mean, it's really a blessing because for me, I'm sure I mean every big leaguer really wasn't supposed to be there, because yeah, it doesn't matter where you get drafted. You could be drafted the last guy in the draft or first rounder, but it's really difficult to make it to the big leagues. But also, it's to find success and sustain success. It's extremely difficult. You have to be disciplined. You have to have a great mental fortitude, and honestly, you have to have a great work ethic. But there are some people who are just ridiculously talented that play the game of baseball, and I mean, for me, like I'm blessed with a few certain gifts, but for me, like I know I'm not a five tool player. Like I have to, like I'm not going to steal bases. Like I can do the best I can to play. Um, I mean, play like run steal the bases, but there's different things that like I just can't do. Like I'm not going to go out there and steal 40 bags a year. Like that's just not who I am. My job is to be the best first baseman I can be, and be the most disciplined at the plate I can be. Because for me, I take pride in doing the little things and right. I like taking the extra base, advancing on a dirt ball read, and for me, like that's how I have to be successful in the game. I have to continuously to do all the little things right, and then also like prepare myself mentally to win the mental battle over 162 games against the best pitchers in
Pete,
the
That's
world.
amazing.
even hearing you say all that, I want to ask you this question. Do you consider yourself an overachiever?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely, I do. And I want to continue to overachieve. And for me, I want to be able to hold myself to high expectations. And for me, like, I want to be the best player I can be every single year. And I want to be able to hold myself to a high standard and continue to do that and push for that. And wherever the results may lie that year, like, that's where they're going to lie. You can't necessarily change the results in baseball. Sometimes you have to have a little bit of luck. Sometimes you have to have some calls go your way, and sometimes you gotta have some windier days for the ball to go out and help your team advance and keep winning games. Because it's wild, because everything that I do, it's like I just try and be the best I can each day, because every day, like last year, we finished with the same record as the Braves, but there's games like, oh, it's the Brave series. No, like the week before, we lost 5 out of 6 games against. We lost 2 out of 3 against the Nationals, and we lost. We got swept by the Cubs. All of those were at home. So it's like people love to say like, oh, you guys lost the division in the wild card. It's like, no, like Braves are a great team, and we were pretty much neck and neck the entire year with them. But we lost the division when we got swept by the Cubs. We lost the division when we got lost 2 out of 3 Nationals. So I try and come with it every day, no matter who the opponent is, because anyone can get you in the big leagues. Anybody.
This is a great
No one's
concept,
safe.
because the reason why I asked that question, Pete, is precisely because you could have different attitudes, right? You could be that type of guy who says, you know what, I am gifted with so much talent and skill, and you kind of just lay back a little bit. So that overachievers mentality that says, you know, I do have a few gifts. Just listening to you say that, I'm like, you have a lot more than just a few gifts, but you're so humble. And I love that mentality, because that's what's going to keep you working. Like, you don't take anything for granted. So that overachieving mentality just keeps you coming. You never get comfortable.
No, I never. I mean, I never want to be comfortable, because comfort in certain ways, I wouldn't say it's complacent. Comfortable and complacent are kind of in the same neighborhood. But once you get complacent, I mean, the game will come back and humble you real quick. I mean, this is an age old saying, but there's two people in the game of baseball: the people who are humble, and then the people who are about to be humbled.
And you see, that's the mentality. That's the mentality. I think that's a massive reason why, like, just going back to what I said before, is that's why so many people have just, fallen in love with you here in New York City, Met fans and baseball fans alike, because of that mentality. This is, as much as people think about New York City as, this big city, there's a lot of money and this and that. This is a very blue collar city. A lot of people go to work, and you have that, you have that workman's like mentality. And I think that's what a lot of your other teammates have too, that I think makes all of you as a team so beloved to so many of your fans. And I feel like that's like what Carlos said. There is something to that, and you have so many skills. Yeah, man. I don't think there's many stadiums that can hold you in, because you're a beast. You are the polar bear. And I also feel that what you bring to the table is that humbleness. It is that approach. It is that mentality, and that's so easy for a fan base and for a team to just wrap your arms around you and just say, yeah, this is our guy.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And for me, I just want to represent my team, represent myself and my family, because as much as hard work that goes into that I've done and accomplished, and obstacles I've overcome, like it truly takes a village, because there's been so many coaches that have helped me out through my amateur and professional career. There's so many people that have had a positive impact. And for me, I just want to be able to get the most out of myself. I want to continue to push my limits, and then really discover how far I can take myself in the game, because I'm really, really thankful and blessed that I've had a tremendous amount of people, especially my family and my wife, that have been there and helped me throughout difficult times. And even when times are good, just the difficult day-to-day grind. It's tough. It takes a lot of mental fortitude, and I'm just really lucky to have a lot of people.
When you sit
in
on the
corner.
sidelines, and in the off season, you're relaxing with your family, but you're seeing the moves being made, and you see the Grom leaves, you see Verlander comes in, Scherzer coming back, you see the additions and the subtractions. Do you think this year's ball club is actually better than last year's?
Well, I don't know. There's only one way to find out, and that's to play, and that's to play it out. I mean, last year's ball club, I thought we were excellent. I mean, that was easily one of the best teams I've ever been on. I mean, winning 101 games is really special. But I mean, I mean, falling short. I feel like we had a really good chance to do it. I thought we had pitching, we had bats. I like our talent and also the way that we gelled together. Like we genuinely cared about each other. It was a great group of guys, and that's why for us, like it stung when the last out was made and in the locker room. Like I don't want to feel that feeling again. And this group of guys, I mean, coming into the season, I haven't necessarily gotten to talk to everybody, but I mean, the talent speaks for itself. But I want to be able to be better. I don't care how we get in the playoffs, but I want to be holding up the trophy at the end of the year because that's the most important. That's the most important thing. So, however, if we can be that team, then that'd be awesome because that's the goal.
Hey,
We want to
Pete,
be
like
better.
you just mentioned that moment when the last out was made and you knew the season was over. And you also knew how big of a year you as a team was, you know, you guys were having a great year. You were having an unbelievable season as well individually. Tell me, what does it feel like? Like when it's over and you're like, this is not the way I wanted to end.
Well, I mean, I mean, it's just like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's just like just get this sour taste in your mouth. It's like it was just such an unbelievable ride, and you just didn't want it to end because, like, again, like we cared about each other, and we just and we weren't ready for it because for us, it's like we just didn't expect to be losing the first round of the playoffs like that. Like none of us ever had a doubt in our mind that we were gonna like that we weren't gonna that we were gonna go all the way. Like there was no doubt. And then when it finally happened, where it's like no one was mentally prepared to lose. Like because which is great because you don't want to think about losing, but it was just like no one could even fathom about like losing the first round of the playoffs. Like none of us even had it in our minds. So that's I mean it
Did
was,
it take
it
a
was awful.
while?
It was
Did it take a
bad.
while for you to just shake that off and get back to work?
I mean, after the game ended, I think is like you know what, like it wasn't meant to be. It took me like it took me a while to it was quick regarding to like digest and realize what happened. It's like okay, yeah, like we're not playing baseball, and then we're like seeing people like champagne shower. It's like yeah, that's very final, like you know. But for us or for me, it's like all right, like just let's go home. You know, like it was a long year. Like it was a great year in so many ways, but you know what? Let's just try and do the best we can, hit the reset
That's
button,
what the
and
You
best
that's what
know,
we
do.
did.
Turn the
you know,
page.
Pete, the Mets as a whole. You guys are trending upward, and granted, yeah, last year was a bit of a downer in how it ended. But I look at you guys as a squad, and I see the moves being made. An owner now that's just that wants to win so bad. I call him Uncle Steve, by the way, and he wants to win just like you guys want to win. You can see the hunger around the team, and I'm I you can talk to Carlos. I'm and listen. Full disclosure, I'm a Yankee fan, so I'm sorry. I just want to let you know, but I'm also very fair, and I've also said that I do feel like you guys are in a prime position to win a World Series in the next few years. There's way too much talent on that team for you guys not to get to that level. And I'm just looking at you and I'm looking at your numbers and how you've just trended. I mean, last year, 131 RBIs. I mean, that's massive. You know what I mean? And I do personally feel like you are on the cusp of winning an MVP, if not this year, maybe next year. You just have it's all going in the direction where it's lining up. You know how you can just tell with numbers and just with things. But in your case, how does it feel with just with knowing that you have the fan base and you have the attention now with the media where they're like, you know what, those are the New York Mets. We have to look at them. You guys play in this beast of a division where it's just you got the Phillies, you got the Braves, the Marlins are coming up. I mean, every division game is a battle. Like how is that?
I mean, for us, I think that we spent a lot of time, like especially this past year. Like there was no any division game. It's like, all right, yeah, you're playing the Marlins, but you got to go face Sandy Alcantara. Like, all right, have fun with that. Um, and then it's okay. Next week we got 4 games against the Braves, and then you got the Phillies, and I mean East is no joke. I think last year, I mean, I think that was arguably was one of the best, if not the best division in baseball. I mean, um, so I mean it was wild, but for us, like as a team, I mean, everybody that's there in the locker room is hungry. Is like it's this infectious attitude that just people want to get after it, and it's not just like work, 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 work. It's people that are being smart. It's like, you know what, I'm going to manage my workload today so I can be a badass today on the field. It's not just everybody that's like hitting for a million hours and then like tired before the game. It's like everybody is like not just working like hard but working smart as well. It's like everybody is fully focused and you can see it. It's that attitude is established from the top down. And obviously, like with Steve, I mean, everyone knows that he wants to win, and then also him putting place people in the front office and like people that are dedicated to that as well. And it's a really great environment. And I think I mean, we've done a really good job so far, but I mean, I know Steve, he wants to
Hmm.
create a dynasty, and I mean, that's the goal. So for us, it's great to be a part as players. It's great to be a part of, and we want to be able to continue the success and win games and bring home a
How
championship.
much is that
That's the goal.
mentality from Buck Showalter, the manager? How has he rubbed off on you as a manager?
Honestly, he's truly been special. I mean, I haven't had a manager like him. Honestly, I don't think that there's really any manager like him. But it's been awesome because he has that great blend of
Yeah.
old school, that old school baseball type mentality, but then also too like he's still
Yes.
sticking with the times and stuff like that. So he has that good mesh of like analytics or all the using all the metrics and stuff like that, but also he understands that his players
Yeah.
are human beings. So he does a really good job of like just knowing the players, knowing like, okay, yeah, that might be a good matchup on paper, but you know
Hmm.
what, like I just don't see I don't see it today, and we'll go with someone else. And for a really long time, like I mean, over the course of the year, Buck made a lot of excellent decisions, um, and again, like he's been awesome, and his doors are always open. And it's funny because like he'll call people into the office, people will think they're in trouble. He's like, no, I just want to talk. I'm just bored. I just
Hey,
want to talk.
right,
So
Pete? Like he surprised me because honestly, playing against him, I'm like, man, this guy, like, he just looks like mean. Like you don't want to talk to Buck, right? But then you meet him, and this guy's got the
yeah,
greatest personality.
Yeah.
He is so funny. So he's very intense, stoic when he has to be. But then when you get to know him, man, it's a lot of fun. I mean, I work with him here at the network, and he's just an
hmm
amazing dude overall. So. I want to take you back. Hey, Pete, let me take
yeah,
you back over there. We were, I'm at the regional, super regionals over there, and you playing for University of Florida Gators. So I had the privilege, and I'm going to say this because I'm gonna own this, of calling first your placatas, right? Like I was there celebrating your power
yeah,
before everyone else in the nation caught on. You know, when you hit the world by storm, hitting
yeah,
53 placatas in your rookie season. By the way, having a monster
yeah,
year again this season. If you look at that OPS plus, which is a pretty good indicator of performance in the advance with the adjustment
Yeah.
factor in there, you had
Nasty.
almost an equal season as far as production is concerned when it comes to that stat. People don't realize how good this
Yeah.
past year was for you, Pete. Um, what are you trying to work on now going forward?
I, I think for me the biggest adjustment I want to really really get better on is just walking more. I mean, I know it sounds like stupid, but I mean, I would like to walk more. I feel like the 3-2 count really wasn't my friend this past year, and I want to be way more disciplined and not give in on 3-2
And,
counts.
and Pete, okay, how do you accomplish that? I mean, don't give any secrets away, but for those hitters watching, is it about controlled aggression? Is it more about maybe backing off a little bit, 3-2? Because I know you don't ever lose your aggressiveness. You're an aggressive hitter the
Yeah.
entire at bat, even with 2
Right.
strikes.
Yeah. Because for me, anytime I get defensive, that's when I feel like my timing slips a little bit. Because there's been so many pitches. I feel like with 2 strikes, I get I feel like I have a really good 2-strike approach, but 3-2, I just feel like that. Oh, they got to come to me. They got to come to me, and they don't, and then I get too aggressive. So I mean, I actually think that 0-2, 0-2, 1-2, 2-2, I'm really good. It's just that, like, okay, I've worked to get to 3-2. I've fouled off some tough ones. They got to come to me now. And then it's like, and then sometimes it's like, or it's like I get too excited or I gamble on it being a cookie over the middle and then it's not. But then I swing at something bad or just like, or if it is there, I didn't really put my best controlled swing on it. But I don't know. It's just one of those 3-2 counts. I think that's the most difficult count in the big leagues to hit
And
in.
Pete, how about I want to ask you about the other monster on the other side of New York, Aaron Judge. I mean, arguably we could say that the best power hitters in the game today are here in New York City.
Easily.
Um, Looking to the other side, to the New York Yankees and seeing what Judge was able to do. What do you admire in his approach? What have you learned from him? And how cool is it to be part of that elite power group here in New York?
I mean, it's great. Honestly, I think I mean, in a way, it's friendly competition from afar. And I think that it's great because you have two. I mean, New York, it's a big city. People love their baseball, and also too, like there's nowhere else in the world where people love home runs more. Like people in New York love homers, and it's awesome. I mean, it's a super special city, and for me, I feel like I represent my team well, and Aaron obviously does an absolutely wonderful job. But it's really awesome. I was a little upset because I was rooting for him to win the
Yeah.
Triple Crown. I mean, hitting 62 is special, but for him to win the Triple Crown, oh, that would be like, I mean, that would be like something really special. I know that hitting 62 home runs, that's an absolute journey and just an unbelievable year because how many days that you have to be consistent, how many days that you like can't foul off that one pitch that you're going to see all game. I mean, man, like it was really cool to see how a season just unfolded and just blossomed into this like
Yeah,
ridiculous
I'm a
year.
piggyback. I'm a piggyback off of Carlos right here. I know you're being humble and modest, and I love it. But you broke Aaron Judge's rookie home run record. Now, I'm sorry, I gotta ask. Are you gonna go for 63 next year?
Well, so it's funny. So people think that it's Aaron's record, which it
Yes,
is in the
yes.
American League. So for me, so I can't really beat his
Oh
record
no,
because
so
I'm in the
Right.
I
National League.
understand what you're saying. So in terms of
I
surpassing him, though, yeah.
got to go. Well, I have to. I mean, I got to go. If I do go, I mean, it
All
has
right,
to
there
be
you
Barry,
go.
right?
There you
That's
go.
Let's do
Oh my
it.
God. Oh
Okay,
my
I'm gonna include
God.
myself in that mix.
My
Let's do it,
Lord.
Pete.
Pete,
Now, wait.
you do that. This city would erupt in a way that I haven't seen in a long, long time. My goodness, man. Oh Lord.
Yes,
You
but let
talk
me say
about
this. But Rod, listen to this.
Well,
Pete, please back me up on this one because I watch you in the home run derby. You've won it twice. You are like the champion of derbies. But I see you in between at bats. You go in the cage
Yeah.
and you have a drill that I pointed out to everyone. I'm like, why is he hitting using the high tee and he's hitting line drives to the end of the cage with the high tee? Because everyone is like, no, he's trying to hit home runs, so he's got to lift the ball. And here he is trying to hit a line drive
Line
on a
drive.
high pitch. Let's talk about that, please.
Yeah. So basically, what I try and do, so any homer, you're hit on the sweet spot of the bat or the meat of the barrel. I'm just trying to work on like just mastering the sweet spot and hitting just a hard line drive to the big part of the field. And for me, like so Aaron, right? Let's look at his season last year. So if you look at all of his home runs, all of them those are considered like barrels, whether it be like on a metric or like
Mm-hmm.
just the eye test. So all of those the 62 homers, those are line drives that just happen to go out of the ballpark. He's not trying to hit homers. I think he's honestly, if I were to put myself in his shoes, he's just trying to hit a line drive over the pitcher's head or over the second baseman's head. But because he's big and strong and like can hit the ball really far and really hard, those line drives, that high quality approach and that small mindset or that
Mm-hmm.
that target, small thoughts
Right.
equal big results. And for him, he just mastered he mastered the sweet spot last year where it's like all the singles he would hit were bullets. I mean, every once in a while, every guy gets some cheapies, but like when we played against him in both Subway series, like he didn't have any cheap hits. He was just super short and direct to the baseball, which is to do that consistently over the course of the season is special. So, I mean, that's how you hit homers, and that's how you develop. Homers are line drives. This is for the young kids or for the high schoolers watching. Homers happen because you have polished your swing enough to hit line drives consistently. Homers are produced in the
Mm-hmm.
weight room, and then also pure. Like if you're a younger kid and you're hitting line drives, you never know like how strong you're going to end up getting later on in life. Like if you're 12, 13 years old and like you're just waiting on your body,
Yeah.
it'll get there. I promise. Like you're going to hit growth spurts. Kid muscles are going to start to turn into man muscles. And I've seen kids that, I mean, even me, like I was 18 years old. I grew an inch in college and I put on 20 more pounds by the time I was a junior. So like people change and adjust the older they get, just that you have to wait on your body and then put in the work. And homers are produced in the weight room. Line drives produce like give you that consistent,
Well,
that barrel
okay,
control.
I am going to clip that off. I'm going to clip that off, and this is absolute gold. So
Yeah.
Pete Alonso here, one of the most prolific home run hitters in the game today, just basically said that he doesn't try to hit home runs. He tries to hit line drives, and he understands that the home runs happen on their own. Slightly mishit underneath, those are home runs. But he's trying to hit line drives. People don't want to believe me when I say that.
No.
Pete Alonso just validated that idea right there. So I appreciate it, Pete. Now, I had to say that. I got to clip that off. That it was absolute gold
Yeah.
for hitters. Rod, I know you wanted to get to some personal questions for Pete a little bit
I
deeper.
did. Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah, Pete, we're talking. We kind of went through it a little bit, but I just want to ask you, who is the most influential person or people in your life?
I mean, I'm just really lucky. I mean, my I had awesome parents. I mean, grandparents, some unbelievable coaches, and some great friends, and then also like my wife. I mean, I just have an extremely strong support system, and I'm just really lucky. So, I mean, it's really I'm very blessed to have like just a lot of high quality people in my corner and that have helped me not just like on the field, but like thank you to my coaches and everybody who's helped develop me from the baseball side, but also people like in personal life too. So I mean all aspects. I'm just really
That's
really really
beautiful, man.
fortunate.
Now, the other thing, I know you have the Alonso Foundation. Obviously, me being a local guy, I've seen you guys do so many awesome things. Obviously, Tunnel to Towers, which is a huge thing here for the 9/11 survivors. We also seen you do stuff for the Wounded Warrior Project. Can you tell us more about the Alonso Foundation?
Yeah, so basically, what kind of started this was during COVID. My wife and I, we were just like we wanted to do something. We wanted to create a positive impact wherever we could, and we started the Alonso Foundation in wake of the pandemic. First, we just wanted to just kind of do whatever we could with uh, rep, like just anyone helping out on the front lines, working and making sure everyone is safe and healthy. And we've done a ton of things with veterans. We've done a ton of things with like firefighters, doctors, nurses, and now we're starting to basically we're not transitioning, but we're focusing on some other aspects. Like we're focusing on like not just helping out animals, but to help shelters out, rehome some animals, and then also just do things in our community where we can help impact kids and do that through the game of baseball. Because for me, like baseball means so much, and I feel like that without like certain structure, especially nowadays, like kids need to be outside. Kids need to be like have that sort of like passion, and instead of like being on their phones or just like not really understanding like what's going on, they can actually go out, interact with kids, have fun, be in a fun, safe environment, like whether it be in a little league or travel team. So we've done a lot of things in inner city areas in New York and as well as Tampa. And we just want to help people the best we can, positive impact in our communities here in New York and
You know,
also in
it's
Tampa.
amazing to see what you've been doing, Pete. And I had the honor of meeting your parents actually in Tampa not too long ago, and it was no doubt. You know, when I saw that, I'm like, wow, I know where that solid character that Pete displays comes from. You know, that I met your wife, and it was awesome to see that you're a family man and how much you care about your community and utilizing the platform that has been given to you because you do not take it for granted. Seriously inspiring, and uh, I think it's just a very clear example to follow. It's exemplary, Pete. Um, Another question
Thank you.
that I thought would be interesting to hear you kind of go through and think through is what would you tell a younger Pete Alonso, your younger self? What advice would you give him, knowing what you know now?
Um, if anyone says it's going to be easy, tell them that they're full of it.
Yeah.
Um, because there's nothing in the game of baseball. Nothing's easy. Nothing's given to you. You have to go out there and not just earn it, but you have to earn it twice. And there's going to be people that are gonna say no. There's going to be people that you're going to think that their opinion matters and holds weight. But realistically, like if you perform and if you're a man of substance and a player of substance, that overrides everything else, and that's what's going to get you through. Just keep hammering
That's
till the door
awesome.
breaks
And
down.
Pete, well, on that note, I would love to know, do you have a favorite quote, something that has inspired you and motivated you throughout your life?
Yeah. So growing up, my grandpa always used to say, "Keep on swinging," and for me, like that's super super easy because like any time, just keep when things get tough, you just keep going, you keep shooting your shot. And there's this other quote that so recently I, uh, I visited the Roosevelt Annex in Key West, and President Roosevelt had this saying on his desk. It's like the buck
Mm.
stops here, and the tour guide said that everyone because everyone knows that saying, or a lot of people know that saying, and it what it means is so back in the day, when the Cowboys out west used to play poker, instead of a poker chip, the dealer was passed a buck knife, and you had the opportunity to pass it off. And if there's any missed deals or if there's anything wrong in the game, it would be the dealer's. It'd be the dealer's fault, and he would have hell to pay because you'd have a bunch of angry people with their money in the pot and etc. So basically, when the buck stops here, when someone says the buck stops here, they're willing to own the mistake and they're willing to be accountable, but also they're not afraid to put themselves out there and be the guy that performs. So for me, like I really like that saying, and I have always known the saying, but I never really understood what it meant. And so for me, like every night, it's when I go out there and play, it's like I'm going to go out there and give it hell. Like I'm going to go out there and compete my ass off. And but if I mess up, it's my fault. I own it. I'm not afraid of it. I'm not afraid of consequences. So for me, like I really love that
powerful
saying.
Accountability. I love it.
Pete, I gotta give you a shout out to. I remember your rookie year. I know it was a great year individually for you. I know as a team, it was. I know it could have been better, and I noticed how you were the one answering a lot of questions in the press. The press came to you as a rookie asking you stuff, and I gotta say, man, I gotta give you so much credit that and you saying that quote. The buck stops here. You took responsibility early on as a rookie. Like those are things that are invaluable. As a leader in the clubhouse and as just a player of your stature. And I got to commend you on that, man. Like, you really do live by the whole, the buck stops here thing. And again, the Mets have someone extremely special in you. And I commend you for that, man.
I appreciate it. Also, too, I'm really lucky because I had two just first-class pros that I got to pick their brain and learn from. So my two veterans that I had that really helped me out, Robbie Cano and Todd Frazier, those guys really kind of like took me under their wing and just really helped me along through the entire journey, that entire season. So.
Is it true that Todd Frazier was the one that gave you the nickname of the polar bear?
Yeah, that's true.
Wow.
Yeah. So for me, it's my first. It's my second big league camp and my first real chance I had to become a big leaguer. So I'm in the corner. So Todd Frazier has the corner locker, and then I'm right next to Todd, and then Robbie Cano is right across from me. So I was really fortunate that I got to get to know them during spring training. But for me as a kid, or not a kid, I got a chance to break camp as a rookie, and I'm sitting there. That's the golden rule: don't talk unless talked to. But those two guys were just really, really awesome. They treated me like I was. They treated me like a real person, which is awesome. Because for me, it's oh my god, that's that's Robbie Cano, and then Todd Frazier, two-time All-Star home run derby champ. It's wow, these guys are actually talking to me. I'm just, and eventually their big message is just be yourself. On the field, play how you play your game, and then be who you are. So I really appreciate those two guys because they've really helped me out dealing with not the baseball stuff, but the quote unquote the New York stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, these are great concepts. Everything that you're sharing with our audience. Talking about keep on swinging it. The grandfather used to say the buck stops here, and accountability and responsibility. And then when you talk about your teammates, I could just sense a humility, how you will always continue to grow precisely because of that, because you respect your teammates, you respect the game. So I'm just so excited for what the future holds for you, because the process that you employ, it's just right on, Pete. So really excited about the future. And with that,
thank you.
With that, Pete, we're gonna just go forward to a game we play here as we wrap up. It's called Going Placata with Pete Alonso. All right, and basically you gotta let us know what you prefer to go placata on. What would you go placata on? And we're gonna give you two choices. Are you ready to play?
Do it.
All right.
Go for it,
So
Rod.
some of these are not two. Some of these are three choices. This is the first time I'm doing this, Pete, because it's you. So all right. So here we go. We're gonna start with one here. Pete Alonso, what would you go placata on? Fly fishing or hunting?
Both.
Hey man, that's a tough choice, right? You don't have to choose. You can go placata on both. You're right.
Yeah, I can't both. I love both. That's
What do you get from
both.
fly fishing? How do you feel when you're out there?
So I just think that it's a truly special and unique experience, because for me, like, I love wading, like feeling the river, like you're in a beautiful scenery surrounded by mountains, like, and you're just in the river, feeling the force, feeling the gentle force of the water come again, and then you stand there and you're just slinging the fly and then just trying to present it the right way. I mean, it's like you have to be super rhythmic, and once you kind of get in the flow of it, like you're not really fishing. You're just more of like in a flow, in a rhythm, and like you just feel like you're a part of like your surroundings.
Wow.
Pete,
Um,
sounds like
it's almost like a Zen experience if you go in the right place. Then hunting for me, like I love wild game. I love venison. I love elk. But that's more of, I would say that's more of a spiritual, like that's way more of it's more of a spiritual experience than like a Zen experience. So it's two different types of experiences, but I mean I love both.
What's
I
the
love
weirdest?
both.
What's the weirdest thing you've eaten off of a hunt?
I wouldn't say, so the weirdest thing um so deer, they have these like little white membranes behind the eyeball. It's basically like fat behind the eyeball, and it tastes like pizza dough. So if you take no, like I'm telling you, like if you like cut it off the back of the eyeball and then you eat it, it's like pizza dough.
how about
Wow.
that?
We got to get
No,
Pete
it's
on Bear Grylls, man. We got to get you with Bear Grylls so you can do an episode, man.
But I won't eat the actual. I didn't have the actual eyeball. It's like this little membrane on the back. It's chewy. It tastes like raw pizza dough. It's wild.
Oh,
Take,
wow.
take your
Interesting.
word for that. You know, when
Yeah,
you were talking,
definitely.
when you were talking about fly fishing, all I could think about is like, oh my God, that's the way he hits.
Yeah.
That's the way he hits when he's in the box.
Yeah.
Rhythm, smooth, and at the right time to strike.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, you're right.
Oh,
Wow.
that's great. All right.
You broke it down.
That's
All right, so
excellent.
the next one. So here we go, Pete. The other one. Placata on making a web gem at first or going yard.
Going yard.
Going placata, baby. That's right.
Slugger for life.
He does take pride in his defense because I see him working out every single day. But
Yeah.
come on, you gotta go in placata is going placata. How about this?
That's a fact.
What would you
Yeah.
go placata on? St. Pete Beach or Clearwater Beach?
Oh, St. Pete is way better. It's St. Pete.
all right.
St. Pete, way better than Clearwater Beach.
All right. Yeah, I would. I love St. Pete Beach. I'm with you there, Pete. I'm with you. I spent a lot of time there in St. Pete, so that's why I asked.
Absolutely.
So another one, Pete. This is a 3-1 here. So get ready for this one. Placata, beating the Braves, beating the Phillies, or beating the Yankees?
I mean, everybody. All the above.
Oh, yeah,
Good answer. Good answer. My
All
boys will be
above.
happy hearing that.
just cover it all.
Yeah, just cover it all up. That's it.
Well, Pete, thank you so much, man, for joining us today. Truly a pleasure to have you.
Man.
We really appreciate your humility, the input, the insight, all the great golden nuggets you gave our audience
Yes.
that they can take into their life and apply it to their life. And we wish you the best of luck going forward, man. And we're big
Thank
fans
you,
of
Pete.
you
Thank
here.
you.
Thank you for
Yeah,
joining
thank
us.